Hey guys, we got a big week coming up, and tonight I got a special guest, somebody from A&T, who's going to talk about the ins and outs of this new safety policy at Truist Stadium. I'd like to bring on Carl Hairston, the Associate Athletic Director for External Affairs. What's going on, Carl?
Not too much. Thank you for having me, Samaj. Appreciate it.
The pleasure's all mine. Now, Carl, tell us about this weekend, because I know everybody's excited about going back to Truist Stadium, see the boys back in action. It's been almost 2 years. And the main thing is we want to make sure that we're doing everything to be as safe as possible. And this week, the school has announced some new safety protocols for entrance into the stadium. Can you expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it's been, I think, a little over 600 something days since we last played. So obviously a lot has changed. 2 weeks ago at this point, we put out some information that requires all fans to either have a COVID vaccination or a negative PCR test within the past 72 hours. So that would be taking a PCR test Wednesday and getting your results back, Friday or so, and bringing those results to the stadium. I did want to make sure that people understood PCR. A lot of places have the rapid antigen test, and so that is not the test that we were requiring. We were requiring that PCR that's usually a 72 hours. And one of the things that we released today was just some more information on how to show that either proof of vaccination or proof of negative test. We have 14 sites that are on campus in various parking lots or various open areas that people will be able to walk up and show that vaccination card or even a picture of the card, as well as your photo ID. I think I left that out. And then show their negative test, receive a wristband, and then they'll be able to proceed to the stadium, show their ticket and show their wristband, and you're good to go. And the thought of doing those vaccination sites, we've talked to a couple other schools that are doing something similar. It's just really to keep a bottleneck away from the gate. We don't want someone trying to come to the gate, show the ticket, show the vaccine card, and you just be waiting there forever. So we think these sites will help us out. There's one drive-through site, as you'll see on the map, at War Memorial Stadium. So people who park in A3 or A4, or the blue and gold lots, the ones that are right around the stadium inside a game zone, you can actually drive through that one. And so coming down Lindsay, traffic will go the other way. So it used to go starting like at the Napa, at the corner of headquarters in Lindsay, coming down through the stadium. You'll come the opposite way now. So you could drive up, coming from like the post office, State Employees Credit Union, that area, stop in War Memorial. You don't have to get out your car. You show your vaccine for everyone who's in the car. You'll all get wristbands, and then you'll be able to drive straight into your lot. So that should, hopefully, cut down on a bottleneck there. It'd be a little pretty easy for our people to get in and out.
Yo, that is amazing. I got to tell you, listen, because I was one of the strongest, proponents or advocates for a vaccine mandate at A&T football games this year. Right.
Yeah.
I was hoping someone saw it. That was my purpose. Okay.
I know you want to take credit for it. We definitely have been working on it for a while. Yeah. I will say that. So but yeah, it was good that you yourself and other people were excited for that and wanted us to do that. It wasn't kind of we didn't really get much negative feedback from really just making sure our fans are safe that come out to the game.
And you told me something Monday that blew my mind. We are the only school in North Carolina that currently has a vaccine mandate.
Yep. I want to say, I think I saw Winston-Salem State is doing something starting. I don't know. I think they have a game this weekend. I don't know if it's starting this weekend, but their release came out after ours. But yeah, so now we're the first ones.
We're first though.
We're the first ones.
Hey, gotcha.
Always.
Aggies do. We're ahead of the curve. I like that. Good job, Kyle.
Always
appreciate that.
But listen, I know you can't say too much inside baseball here, but as far as this the thought process and getting all that established, there had to be a ton of internal meetings and experts and checking with legal. Can we do this? Can we do that? Just how extensive was that process from the time when you wanted to think about doing it till last week when you officially announced it?
I've been in meetings today about it still, just making sure we're straight.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is definitely a full university project. Obviously athletics was at the head of it, but our partners over at Campus Enterprise, who oversee the ticket office and parking, very integral in making this happen. You mentioned legal, just making sure this is something that we're allowed to do and how we push out. And then our partners over at University Relations, which is our communication office for the entire university, help pushing out the message. And obviously the chancellor's office was involved because, like you said, there's so many moving parts. There are people who are invited to the game who you may not even, really think about, who we need to make sure are verified before they come in, vendors who are dropping stuff off, or people who deliver things. There's so many moving parts on game day that obviously we had to have everyone involved who has any part of game day.
Gotcha. Well, I think it's outstanding. I mean, it just shows you that you care about your fans, you care about everybody who's going to be around the stadium, and to do that and to be the trailblazers. I think that says a lot about you guys.
Absolutely.
And I just take my hat off to you, man. Like I said, I was one of the main people chirping on social media, calling everybody out. Let's get this done yesterday. And you guys took your time, but you did it. And I'm super pleased. Now, listen, I have a 11-year-old son, right? So he obviously can't get the vaccine, but I can just take him, you said, to I guess a drugstore or a health provider somewhere.
CVS, something like that. Yep.
And get what's the name of the test called? It's the
PCR test.
It's a PCR test.
Yeah.
And so this, from now, this video, this show will probably air on Thursday. So anytime between Thursday and game time, if he gets a negative result, he's good to go, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And the majority of those places you mentioned do PCR. The only one we don't take is that rapid antigen, which our students and staff on campus can take. It's like 15 minutes until you get the results. And so that one is not as accurate as the PCR test. So that's why we decided to go with that one. And that's usually the case for most other universities who are doing this, as well as any concerts or anything like that. They're requiring that PCR test.
Do you have a recommended time on how early people should get to the stadium to go through that process?
It really depends on kind of where you are, and obviously this being our first time, we're just encouraging people to get there as early as possible. We spread out those vaccine check locations throughout campus to try to give people as many options wherever they're parking or wherever they're kind of walking up from. But so say, for instance, if you're someone who parks in maybe Laurel Street, there's a couple of sites there, maybe adding an extra 20, 30 minutes onto what you normally would do just from walking up to the site and, showing that and then walking over to the stadium. But we're hopeful because there's so many and because we're trying to push the word out that people will get there early and there won't be, like I said, bottlenecks. The biggest thing is make sure there's not bottlenecks at the ticket booths. And that's why you see the majority of our locations are a little bit away from that. So you don't have people trying to do the same thing at one time.
So once you get your wristband, then you go to the regular ticket, the regular gate, and you show your ticket or your whatever,
your pass or whatever.
Or whatever. And then when you're inside the stadium, are masks mandatory or what's
they're not mandatory. We're suggesting mask wearing.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not one of those. It's not required, but it's highly suggested.
Okay.
And obviously, like you said earlier, we feel a little bit safer because we know that at least everyone inside is tested negative for COVID or has a vaccine.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I got one question, Carl. On tailgaters, there's probably going to be the usual amount of tailgaters there this year, COVID or no COVID. Fans love to tailgate.
They're going to tailgate. They're going to be out there.
They're going to be out there. They will need to come down Lindsay instead of turning off of Bessemer to just go into reverse order this year.
Exactly. Yeah. So, like I said, coming from, I guess, like the farmers market area, going into War Memorial, and then go straight that way down Lindsay, like you said, into the stadium.
Okay. So is that station going to be in that parking lot, in that long parking lot at Memorial, or is it going to be on the street itself?
And it'll be in the parking lot, in War Memorial
Okay.
parking lot. Yeah.
All right. That just want to clarify for all those tailgaters will be out.
Yeah. And it's on the sheet as well, but it opens the same time that those lots open, so 5 hours before the game. So if you're one of those tailgaters that gets there bright and early to get started, I would suggest getting to that a lot early so you're good to go.
That's awesome,
Okay.
man.
Great.
All right, so Carl, real quick now, what the hell is the associate athletic director for external affairs? Because I thought I was inviting you on because you were the marketing guy. So now I see this big old title here. I'm looking at your business card. So give me, in a nutshell, just tell me what is your overall job responsibilities in that title?
Gotcha. So a lot of my job is focused on revenue generation, obviously. Oversee all of our marketing as well as all of our corporate partnerships. So like I'm trying to think of something exciting. The Bojangles thing. We have an A&T Bow Box now.
Okay.
So it's something that myself and my staff work on. Also work with community relations. So our community outreach game next week. Things like that. My staff works with that. And then some things on the administrative side. I work with football specifically for like non-conference scheduling, which is pretty cool. So getting some nice games lined up for them down the line. And then just like I said, just general, administrative things like this, special events when we have, I guess, like celebration bowls. So making sure that the celebration bowl people had everything they need from our end. Did that for the playoffs back in 2016, and hopefully we'll be doing that again when we go to playoffs this year. So it's other duties as a sign is definitely in there.
Now, Carl, you talked about out of conference. I'm glad you mentioned that. You are not an Aggie, correct? Originally?
Correct. No.
But you married an Aggie.
I married an Aggie. Yeah, you did your
Oh,
research.
smart man. Tell us, man. Tell us, how did that experience and how did you all meet? How did that kind of shape you as an Aggie now? Because we consider you part of the Aggie family now, man. You definitely an Aggie in our book.
Definitely.
But
absolutely.
Tell us about
she can probably hear me, so I'm gonna tell my version of the story.
Oh, there you go. That's smarter.
No, so I got to A&T in 2015, the beginning of 2015. Came from Elon University. I went for undergrad, and I was raised a Ram actually. Both my parents went to Winston State, worked there. Lifelong fans. I think they're going to the Winston State game this weekend before they come over to A&T. So, but yeah, so my wife works in student activities, and they needed our assistance kind of at an event essentially, and so we had some interaction there. Didn't see her for maybe another 6 months, 7 months, and then had a random run in, and just had a conversation. And I went to her office the next day and asked her, the assistant, if I could get her phone number to ask something. Assistant said, yeah. I'll get to it. I'll explain why that makes sense.
Okay.
And so I told her it was work related. She was like, yeah. And so I texted her basically an inside joke that we had in that initial conversation. And I didn't say my name or anything. So she knew exactly who it was as soon as I texted her. But as part of the inside joke, she was saying that luckily I don't have her phone number in our first conversation. So I took that as she wanted me to have her phone number. And so we went from there. And I don't know if you can hear her, she's yelling in the background. That's why I put my AirPods.
Hey, bring it on. Hey, you gotta bring it in.
I'll let you. Hold on. Let me take this out so you can hear.
Oh, how you doing?
Hey.
How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. I hear he's telling fallacies on me tonight.
He's telling the Aggie love story.
Exactly. Doug knows.
That sounds good, darling. That sounds real good.
No,
But as you can see, we're still together now. So
that's perfect.
Went from that first text to dating, and got married 2 years later, or 2.5 years later, and still together.
Congratulations.
Got married during football season, which was interesting. Yeah.
Well, Carl, you know how I met my wife?
You told me, I think. That was a good story.
This dude right here, Doug Brown, his football team was getting worked against Southern in 2003 in Las Vegas. And so Doug was kind of like my unofficial wingman. They was getting the hell beat out of them so bad. It was a perfect segue to talk to this young lady in front of me, 2 rows ahead of me. And she ended up being my wife. And she wouldn't probably give me a time of day if there was anything to watch on the football field. So everybody, hey, listen.
We did what you do, man. We did what we could do, man.
So that's the only time where A&T loss was a good thing?
Yeah,
right, man.
exactly.
You still thanking me to this day, man.
That changed my life. That changed my life. But man, but Carl, I really appreciate you coming out here, man. And man, this has been really fun. I am looking forward to this weekend. I know that you guys are gonna have all the bases covered, and we're gonna be super safe, or as safe as humanly possible in a global pandemic. But thank you guys for all the hard work behind the scenes. Is there anything else we need to know as far as?
I was going to add just a couple of things we have going on. Is our Hall of Fame game. So we have a class of 10. This is technically the class of 2020. It'll get recognized. We'll do two separate recognitions for them. So we'll do one pregame. Because it's 10 people, it's hard to get in an immediate timeout all of their information. So we want to do right by them and give them a proper introduction pregame, about 25 minutes out before the game starts. And then during the game, we'll also bring them back on the field. And then we'll have a special appearance by our Olympians. So we'll recognize our track Olympians during the game, as well as our national champions and everyone that participated at NCAA Nationals during the game. And then we have a couple other special recognitions throughout for some special surprises, I guess. But it should be a really, really fun atmosphere.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the best way to stay abreast of everything you guys got going on? Because I know it's like a ton of things. Is Twitter, Facebook? I mean, what's the best way we can stay?
Yeah, we try to put stuff, multiple avenues. Obviously, any social media site that you have, we're on. So on Twitter at NCAT Aggies or NCAT Aggie Marketing. It has updates on games and anything like that, and then same on Facebook and Instagram. Gotcha. And always the website as well, ncataggies.com.
Hey, before I let you go, let me ask you this. What's the one thing you think that's changed about your job since you took over? Because I know you said you started in 2015.
Yeah.
What's the biggest social media? What's the biggest just
probably digital. Probably digital media, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Because when I came to A&T, I just did marketing. I didn't do the sponsorship. I didn't do any of the other stuff. Those are all duties that have been added recently. And so, which is good. I'm happy for it.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
But yeah, digital marketing. When I came in, we were heavy newspaper and print ads, which are good, and there's a certain portion of the population who that's where they go to look for ads. If they want to know about something, they're going to go read the paper. But it's hard to track. So when you don't have a $1 million marketing budget, you need to make sure that the money you are spending is going to the right place. So digital is kind of scary. I can look and see if you open the email. I can look and see if you clicked on my ad. And if you clicked on the ad and you didn't buy anything, then I can send that ad to you again and try to get you back to the website. So it's a lot easier to say we spent $100 on this ad and we made $300 based off ticket sales. And it's hard to do that with print media. So that's probably the biggest thing, is that switch. And then obviously NIL, which is a big thing now.
Wow.
That's probably a whole another episode. But we've done some really good things in that space and educating our student athletes on what they can do. Our state doesn't have a statewide policy like a Florida or some other places. So we have a university-wide policy. Our student athletes have to abide by. We work with a group called Influencer that gives them information on, how to properly, mark down their contracts or whatever they're getting, and then train them on different ways to just be to brand themselves and be open to companies that may reach out. So yeah, that's the biggest one, and it will continue to change. If you had me on in 2 months, I would probably have something completely different on NIL than I have right now.
Well, listen, I do want to bring you back, but in the meantime, we got a bunch of just experts in marketing on BlueDeathValley.com. So I don't know. Can I give them your cell phone number because they have all these ideas? Listen,
You get my email address.
listen, they have all these brilliant ideas what A&T needs to be doing more of, from billboards to I think some people you want to do like the Goodyear blimp still. Everybody has a brilliant idea.
We have billboards now. We do.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we do billboards. Yeah.
But yeah, marketing is like coaching. Everybody thinks they can do it.
Exactly, right. And they all want to spend like your money, not theirs. So everybody thinks you have an endless amount of money to spend on this stuff. So yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it. And I know you got to get on to your beautiful wife and get ready for this big weekend. But thank you for all that great information. And we're definitely going to bring you back if that's not a problem. We want to bring you back so some future shows so you can talk about other promotions you got going on. But and we'll just tell everybody check with all the social media stuff and the website for more information.
Absolutely. Yeah. All the stuff we talked about lives on the website. Is a page dedicated to COVID updates on nchat.edu. So everything you can need is right there. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. I'll definitely be back.
Thank you. This has been fun, man. Appreciate it.